Well, greetings to you all. This is Miss Tasha with Storytime with Miss Tasha. And of course, remember, I always start with the 3 things you have to know about Miss Tasha. First of all, what is my favorite color? I love this. I just love my Miss Tasha. That goes with me everywhere. The second thing, of course, is, ready? I love chocolate. Of course I love chocolate. And of course, third thing, of course, is my voice. Which by now, you guys, you really should be used to my voice. I want you to know the speaker is halfway down the table. Okay? Halfway down the table. I mean, right? All right, here we go. The theme is Father's Day. Because this next Sunday is going to be Father's Day. So, I did Mama, but now I'm doing Dada. And this is your baby's first word will be Dada. And it's by Jimmy Fallon. It's illustrated by Miguel Ordonez. It's the year 2015 copyright, Faywell and Friends, and it's a Macmillan Publishers. All right, here we go. Dada! Moo! So he didn't say Dada. Dada! Says the sheep. Ah! Says the little sheep. Dada! Quack! Says the little one. Poor fathers. Dada! Bzzz! Says the bee. Dada! Says the dog. Woof! Says the little puppy. Dada! Look at the look on that face. Sniff! Sniff? Huh, that's interesting. Okay. Dada! Said the kitty cat. Meow! Dada! Said the mouse. Squeak! Dada! Hee-haw! Like Wonky Donkey. Hee-haw! Dada! Oink! Oh my goodness. Dada! Ribbit! Because those are frogs. Dada! Beep! This is a little chick. Oh man. Dada! Nay! Says the little horsey. Now, everyone get in line. Let's say it together one more time. The dads are over here. The little children are over here. Are you ready? Dada! Except, of course, the little duck goes quack. See? And I have a little duck. And the duck goes quack. Oh, what are we going to do? I know. Terrible. All right. Here's my next one. This is about 2 bears. And it's I Love You, Daddy. It's by Jillian Harker, illustrated by Christina Stevenson. It's 2008 by Paragon Books. And it's a wonderful story about a father and his little bear cub. You're getting tall, little bear, said Daddy. Big Bear, big enough to come climbing with me. Little Bear's eyes opened wide in surprise. Do you really mean that, said Little Bear. Daddy Bear nodded. He led Little Bear to a giant tree. Well, Little Bear tried to scramble up on the lowest branch. He tumbled backwards. Daddy Bear nudged Little Bear. Daddy Bear tugged Little Bear. You can do it, he whispered. See, there's an owl watching. And suddenly Little Bear found that he could. I love you, thought Little Bear. Okay, you're getting brave, Little Bear, said Daddy Bear, so daring enough to go gather honey with me. Little Bear gasped. Could I really? Daddy Bear winked. He led Little Bear to another tree and pointed to a hole in the trunk. What's inside there? Honey. Bees make wonderful honey. Well, Little Bear reached out with his paw. A furious buzzing filled his ears. Little Bear pulled his paw back because it's going buzz, 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 buzz. Just be quick, Daddy Bear said. You have thick fur. Bees can't hurt you. You can do it, he smiled. Okay, ready? And suddenly Little Bear found he could. I love you, Daddy, thought Little Bear as he's eating honey. Well, you know, you're getting smart, Little Bear. Smart enough to find a good winter den. Little Bear grinned. Do you really think so? I know so, said Daddy Bear. Well, Little Bear set off. Not too far from food, said Daddy Bear. Ready for when spring comes. Little Bear sniffed the wind. Look for high ground, said Daddy Bear, to keep us dry. So Little Bear padded up over the rocks. Somewhere safe and warm, said Daddy Bear, away from danger. Here, called Little Bear as he disappeared into a deep cave. Wow, look, guys. Daddy Bear followed. He looked around. Perfect, he said. I love you, Daddy, thought Little Bear. Did I climb well? Little Bear asked on the way home. You did, replied Daddy Bear. Was I brave? Asked Little Bear. You were, answered Daddy Bear. Did I find a good den? Asked Little Bear. The very best, smiled Daddy Bear. I'm proud of you, Little Bear. Oh, he's getting tired. This is a long day for Little Bear. Soon Little Bear and Daddy reached home, and suddenly Little Bear felt very tired. But there was something he wanted to say. I love you, Dad, began Little Bear, but he didn't finish. Daddy Bear stroked Little Bear's head. I love you too, he said. That's a good book. Oh, okay. All right. Gotta put on my frog hat because I gotta read you Froggy's Day with Dad. Now, I have read you some other Froggy books. In fact, there are quite a few Froggy books. And, oh my goodness gracious. Froggy gets into so much trouble, I cannot tell you. Froggy's Day with Dad is by Jonathan London, illustrated by Frank Remkowitz. It's 2004 Puffin Books. I made a misspell and I did 2,204, but I corrected it. All right, here we go. Froggy's Day with Dad. Can you tell what Dad likes to do? I know. He likes that, yes. All right, oops. Here we go. Froggy! Called his mother. What? Cried Froggy. Rise and shine, said his mom. It's Father's Day. Hooray, cried Froggy. He hopped out of bed and he flopped to the kitchen. Flop, flop, flop. He's been waiting a long time for Father's Day to come. At school, he made a special present and now he was making breakfast for Dad, all by himself. He dropped an egg on his foot. Splat! Oops, said Froggy. Froggy, called his dad. What? What's that funny smell? You'll see, said Froggy. Well, he served his dad breakfast in bed. Happy Father's Day, said Froggy. I made it all by my... Whoops! It slipped. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Froggy, said his mom. She scooped it up and Froggy's dad took a bite. Thanks, Froggy. The eggshells are nice and crunchy. He doesn't make breakfast very well. I have another surprise for you, said Froggy after breakfast. We're going to play golf for Father's Day. You're too little to play golf, said Dad, but you're just the right size to play miniature golf. Yippee, said Froggy, let's go. First, we have to get dressed, silly. Oops, said Froggy, so he flopped back to his room to get dressed. Flop, 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 zap, zip, zum, zup, zup, and zat. He is ready. I'm ready, cried Froggy, and he and his dad leapfrogged all the way to the fun park. Flap, flop, flop. Oh, boy! First, cried Froggy, let's ride the bumper boats. Okay, said his dad, then we'll play golf. Froggy sat on his dad's legs. That helped him steer. Whip, splash, whoop! He bumped another boat so hard that Froggy bounced up in the air. Whee! He turned a somersault and he landed upside down in the boat. Thump. Oh my goodness, poor Froggy. Well, let's go to the batting cage, cried Froggy. Okay, said his dad, then we will play golf. Froggy put on a helmet. Zap! He wound his up and he swung. Oh, whoops! The bat fell out of his hand and hit his dad in the foot. Thunk. Oh no. Now can we play golf? Asked his dad. Golf? Said Froggy. Why didn't you say so? Let's go. So they flopped over to the miniature golf. Flop, flop, flop. And at the first hole, Froggy wound up and started to swing. Froggy! Yelled his dad. What? You're facing the wrong way. Poor lady. Oh my gosh, he was going to. Oops, I knew that, he said. Yeah, right. Well, then Froggy turned around and he wound up and started to swing. Wait, said his father. First, you have to address the ball. Oh, okay, said Froggy. Hello, ball. No, his dad said, laughing. I mean, stand with your feet apart and place the head of the club behind the ball, then swing. Well, Froggy shrugged, then wound up, are you ready? And swung. Bam, bam, bam! The ball bounced off 3 of the windmill blades, and it landed in the hole. Plop! Hole in one, cried Froggy. That was sheer luck, guys. Holy cow, said Froggy's dad. That was beginner's luck. No way, said Froggy. I'm a pro. Well, after his dad turn, it took him 9 times to hit the ball in, and Froggy said, nice try, Dad. Then they flopped to the next hole. Flop, flop, flop. Now watch me, said Froggy. And he wound up and he swung. Bang, bang, boing! And the ball bounced off 3 towers, hit his dad smack in the head, bonk, and knocked him down. Uh-oh. Oh, look at he turned red. Oops. Oops, cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Thanks, Froggy, groaned the dad, and he rubbed a bump on his head the size of a golf ball. The rest of the game was fun, though, especially for Froggy. He dove into a pond beneath a waterfall, flop, flop, splash. He came up with 7 balls. A lot of people have it go in the water. And when they got back home, Froggy gave his dad his special Father's Day gift. Happy Father's Day, Dad. His dad tore off the paper. Rip! Whoa! It's a mug! Yep, said Froggy. I painted the letters all by myself. To the best dad I ever had. Now, believe it or not, I took this from home. This is from my husband. This is for my husband, from his kids. And you know, kids, you always can give your dad a mug because he just likes coffee or whatever and everything, and he likes that. Thanks, Froggy, said his dad. This is the best gift I ever had. Of course, he has an ice pack on top of his head because, of course, of the, I know. And here are all the Froggy books. You guys, there are tons of them. They are so much fun because Froggy gets into so much trouble. Oh, my goodness. All right, very good. All right, I kind of told you a little bit about this one before, but we ran out of time, and I said, no, I'll do it again. This is CDB. All right, CDB is by William Steig and illustrated by him, too. It's from 1968. It's a windmill paperback by E.P. Dutton. And my challenge for you is to see if you can come up with some of these yourself. So it's really CDB, so you're seeing to be. Okay, so here's the first one. All right, this continues the CDB. CDB? DB is a busy bee. Oh, yes indeed. Okay, here's the next one. Okay, here's a little boy looking at somebody else eating a lollipop. And he goes, I envy you. And then this one here, there's 2 brothers going to sleep. Are you sleeping? Yes, I am. I am too. Aren't those cute? Here's another one. And this is a type of a flower. This is a peony. So he goes, a peony for you. And then, oh my goodness, there, ooh, you can't imagine what these are. Katie is examining the insects. The insects. That's what it is. She's looking at insects. Okay, here's a cute one. Oh, you cutie, you are a beauty. And I like this one because they're all standing in line. I am before you. So there's a whole book of them. They are, oh, wait a minute, did I miss one? Oh, I have missed one. Here's the last one. Here we go, guys. The elephant ate the hay. Okay? And is easy for you, yes? Lifting the weights. So aren't those kind of fun? So that's your challenge. See if you can come up with some things like that. And it's just using the alphabet. I think you can do it. I better take this off. Oh, my goodness. Gotta have that off. All right. Now, the next book I'm going to read is Hi, Daddy, Here I Am. This, believe it or not, because I am Danish. Well, I'm almost all Danish. I'm about 1/16 Norwegian, but other than that. And this is an outstanding selection from Denmark. Because when I was little, you guys, I was really little. I did not grow until I was a sophomore in high school. By the time I was in 8th grade, I was 4'10". I thought I was going to be 4'10" my whole life. And when I was little, I mean, I was so little that when I was in 1st grade, I couldn't even sit at the table in the cafeteria and eat. They had to, the custodian made me a stool so I could sit on the stool so I could actually eat at the table. That's how little I was. So this is really a kind of a fun book because it's go, Hi, Daddy, Here I Am. Are you ready? All right. Every day at exactly 5:30 in the afternoon, little Meddy climbs up on the footstool next to the window, kneels and waits for her father to come home from work. As soon as she sees their little red car turn the corner and drive onto their street, she hops off the stool and runs to a hiding place. Sometimes she hides behind the long curtain. Sometimes she sits under the table. Sometimes she hides under the sofa all the way next to the wall. Sometimes she crouches behind the big armchair. And at other times, she just stands behind the door. She waits and waits for her father while he drives the car into the garage, and then he runs up the stairs into the house. Well, Meddy can hear Mother say hello to Father, and then after he had kissed Mother, he always said, Mother, where is Meddy today? Oh, Mother says, Meddy is in the living room. She would give him a hint at least of what room. But when Father comes into the living room, he cannot find Meddy. Every day he says, this is just terrible. Meddy has disappeared. Where can she be? And every day, Meddy sits quiet as a mouse while her father looks for her behind the long curtain or under the big armchair or behind the door. And every day after Father has looked in all the places where Meddy might be hiding, Meddy would suddenly say, Hi, Daddy, here I am, over here. And then Father would smile, a big smile, and say, so here's my girl. And then he'd lift her high in the air and kisses her on her cheek, and they go into the kitchen and together to eat supper with Mother. Well, here's what happened today. The day before yesterday, when it was exactly 5:30 in the afternoon, Meddy, as usual, climbed up on the footstool by the window, knelt, and waited for her father to come home from work. Just as soon as she saw the little red car turn the corner, she jumped off the stool and hunted for a hiding place. This time, she had found a quite new hiding place. She lay down behind the loose back cushions of the blue sofa, and there she waited for her father. But just at the moment when Father came in the door, the telephone rang, and Father answered it, and it was Uncle Soren. And Father and Uncle Soren talked and talked. Meddy lay on the blue sofa behind behind the loose cushions and waited and waited. Finally, she became so tired of waiting she fell sound asleep. After some time, Father said, "Well, goodbye, son. Say hello to Lisa." And then he put down the receiver and said, "Mother, where is our little Maddie today?" "Oh, she's in the living room." But when Father came into the living room and he could not find Maddie anywhere, he looked behind the long curtain. He looked under the table and under the sofa and behind the big armchair. He even checked behind the door. Once more, he looked around the long curtain and under the table and under the sofa and behind the big armchair and behind the door. But Maddie was nowhere to be found. There was, he says, there was no, "Hi, Daddy, here I am, over here," because little Maddie was sound asleep behind the loose cushions on the blue sofa. That is strange, for Father said. She must be hiding someplace in the house. Where can she be? So he went back into the kitchen to Mother. "Is Maddie out here with you?" "No, she's not," said the mother. She answered in an anxious voice. "She's not in the living room? She's just hiding." Then Mother went to the living room to help Father find Maddie. Mother also looked behind the long curtain. Here we go. And she looked under the table, and she looked under the sofa, and she even looked behind the big armchair and then behind the door, but Mother couldn't find Maddie either. This is not good, guys. Finally, Father and Mother sat down on the blue sofa to think over where Maddie could possibly be. And then Mother leaned back on the loose cushion and the cushion pressed against Maddie, and she woke up. She peeked around the side and rubbed her eyes and said in a sleepy voice, Hi, Mother and Father, here I am, right here." Mother and Father sighed in relief and they smiled at each other. They picked up their little girl and they kissed her on the cheek. And then all three laughed together and they went into the kitchen to eat supper. Isn't that good? Now, I have to show you this. First of all, my question is, do you ever play hide and seek with your mom or your dad and have them try to find you? Well, I am the middle child. I have an older sister and a younger brother. And remember, I was really little, really tiny. And so I didn't do hide and seek because we lived out on a farm and everything. My goodness, my father would never find me. So what I would do, and I have to show you because it's going to be Father's Day. This is a black and white picture, so it's not, maybe they can go up close and they can see it better. But my dad was a farmer. He was a Sun-Made Raisin farmer and everything, so I was a farmer's daughter, and I know how to drive tractor and pull weeds and do tie vines, and oh my goodness, and helping with with all the watering and everything. It was lots of fun. So anyway, that's my dad, and this is my dad. In his late life, he was confined to a wheelchair, and of course, what do I have on? I have a purple outfit on. I mean, you know, what can I say? But I have to tell you this, what I would do, I wouldn't hide, because we lived on 60 acres. So when the dogs would start barking, and so I knew my dad was coming, because he worked for the USDA. So when he would come home, and he'd drive, we had a long driveway. When he would drive in, he'd get out of his car, and my dad was big, and he would kind of stand there and prepare himself, because I would come out of the house running full board, and I would go, ready, aim, fire, and I'd run to my dad, jump in the air, and my dad would always catch me. He never missed. So that was the thing that my dad and I had. Had to share that. Now, I gotta end with a funny story. Oh my gosh. My question is, do you freak out if you don't have power or a charge on your toy that you play with or your phone? Well, you aren't gonna believe when Charlie McButton lost power. It's by Susan Collins. It's illustrated by Mike Lester in 2005 by Puffin Books. This is Oh my God, you can tell by the picture that he goes ballistic, yes. Okay, here we go. So there he is. This is for Charlie and Isabel and for Reagan. All right. Well, Charlie McButton had likes and like-nots. The things he liked involved handsets and bots, computerized games where he battled bad creatures. The things he liked not didn't have blow-up features. Then one day, a thunderstorm blew into town and brought his tech empire tumbling down. A lightning bolt struck an electrical tower, and Charlie McButton, his whole world, lost power. Look at him. He looked left. He looked right, and his heart filled with dread. The TV, the lights, and his clock were all dead. He jumped to his feet, his lungs gasping for air. The room spun around, and he clung to his chair. He tried to cry, "Help!" He just managed to squeak. See, help is all he could do. The blackout had blacked out his power to speak. Thank goodness his mother had ears like a bat. She came to his room and gave him a pat. Nice mother, huh? "Oh, Charlie," she said, picking up on his fears. "The lights will come back when bad weather clears. You'll have to find something without plugs to play. Read a book, clean your room, sing a song, model clay." Could anything be any duller than clay? Soggy gray clay on a soggy gray day. He hated the way clay got under his nails and how he could only make snowmen and snails. That's the only two things he could make. Well, he dove for a gadget he'd outgrown last spring. It was handheld, outdated, not much of a thing. But he clutched the old toy like a lifeline that day. See, it ran on one battery, the size AAA. He flicked the on-off switch to on double quick, but no humming sound followed the click. He unlatched the hatch and his blood turned to ice. "The battery is gone from my backup device." World records were set in the 10-minute dash. As away down the hall, he flew like a flash, seeking one battery, just one AAA, that would rescue one boy from a gray day of clay. But just when he searched nearly drove him insane, he ran past the bedroom of Isabel Jane. His 3-year-old sister was happily walking a doll back and forth, and the doll, it was talking. Now, dolls didn't talk on their own as a rule. They needed a power source, some kind of fuel. In less than a second, he made his decision. Call it bad judgment, a real lack of vision. Somehow, his head didn't warn off his folly, and Charlie McButton pounced on that dolly. Look at him. Oh. He plucked out his prize through the baby doll's dress, and Isabel Jane made a sound of distress. It was just a short walk to the foot of the stairs where resided McButton time-out chair. There he is in the time-out time chair. To add to the fun of his term in the seat, Isabel Jane came to play at his feet. And Isabel Jane, the battery queen, had more AAAs than he'd ever seen. They powered her puppies, they powered her clocks, they powered her talkative alphabet blocks. Assaulted by non-stop mechanical chatter, Charlie McButton got madder and madder. He snapped as he sits from his time-out time zone. "How come you can't ever just leave me alone?" That wasn't very nice for him to say. Look at her face. There's a tear. Right there, guys, there's a tear. her eyes filled with tears as she gave them a rub. She went to the bathroom and hid in the tub. Then Charlie McButton felt totally rotten and couldn't help thinking some things he'd forgotten. Mainly he thought that for sisters that toddle, Isabel Jane was a pretty good model. She clearly adored him. She didn't have fleas. At dinner she secretly would eat up his peas. And sometimes, although he most hotly denied it, he liked to just sit there beside her in quiet, wrapped up in a blanket, watching TV, her head on his shoulder, her foot on his knee. Aww. He sat and he thought and he stared at the rain. When his time out was done, he found Isabel Jane. Oh, she even has a little yellow ducky in her bathtub too. From the edge of the tub, she gave him a peek. So he said, "Hey, are we playing hide and seek?" Oh, look at her. Okay. She was happy at once and ran into the hall, as she loved playing hide-and-go-seek most of all. They took turns being it, and counting to 10, they hid in the plants in the guinea pig bed. And when he found Isabel Jane in her quilt, he decided a big blanket fort should be built. Then the gloom made him think about the dragons and spells. Ooh, oh my gosh, look at him. Look at the dog even. So Charlie became the great wizard McSmells, and Isabel Jane, who desired a row, magically changed to his faithful old troll. That's a ruler, and there is a sieve, a strainer on her head. Between tracking down dragons and brewing up lizards and handling the day-to-day business of wizard, life forging his faithful old troll a new sword, Charlie McButton forgot to be bored. And what is her new thing? It's a fly swatter. What? It's good. At supper they ate under real candlelight. The daytime had melted right into night. And after they'd all been asleep for an hour, oh, the world came alive with a big surge of power. Oh, it's finally back, Charlie thought with a grin. Tomorrow I'll wake up and I can plug in. But another thought hit him he couldn't explain. I might also find dragons with Isabel Jane. Isn't that a fun thing? So sometimes, kids, try to find something to do that doesn't involve being on your phone or playing with things that have batteries. Just go out and play. I mean, look at they created themselves being wizards and everything, and how many, I wish I could see, how many of you, I can't tell you how many forts or whatever my brother and my sister and I built out of blankets. Oh my gosh, we did. Lots of them. Well, I think that is it for today. I will be back right before 4th of July for your next one. So goodbye and have a nice hot time. Bye-bye.